Hey guys, this is day 86 of Startup. I'm realizing that reading books is a massive waste of time. I understand it's a big and controversial statement to make, but I 100% back up on this statement. If you are watching this channel, most likely you are an aspiring entrepreneur, and most leaders really talk about how reading has been a big part of their life. They have been voracious readers, and for myself also, there has been a time where I was reading 50 to 100 books a year. So I have myself read a lot of books. But now, when you are in the middle of a startup, when the when you are the only person who has to make everything work, you do not have a team right now in the very early phase, this 1 to 2 years of time, the initial period of the startup, you cannot waste time on reading books. As an entrepreneur, you are working on something very new. Most of it what you are doing will be very new. There's no one book that can give you step by step all the things that you need to do and answer all your questions sequentially. So there's no one book that you can just follow and do what you need to do as an entrepreneur. In fact, you are creating your own field. You are creating this knowledge set on which you will be the only person who can write this book. You will be the most knowledgeable person on this particular domain, particular problem. So yes, you cannot find answers in a single book, and most books are written in a more broad way. So yes, there will be something interesting that may be relevant for you, maybe 15 to 20 pages in a book that will be relevant for you, but most of it will cover a more broader base like marketing techniques, and half of them will not even apply to you. Or so specifically for me, in my case, for example, what happened now, I'm going to work on the voice technology for sales cold calls, and I started reading a book on neural text to speech. And I have already read, it's I think a 250-page book. I have read 120 pages, but seriously, I did not learn much from it. It's just a survey of hundreds and thousands of methods, and I do not really care of all these hundreds of methods. I just want one method which is working and which is the best one. Okay, so yeah, it's been massive waste of time. But I have realized this, and now I have changed my method. I have started reading the research papers on sites like archive. Just find the latest and the greatest and read those, and they cut the chase, they come right to what's important and how they're different and what they're achieved. So I'm finding that quite a useful method of learning about AI. Few days back, I wanted to find more information about the cold calling scripts, and I downloaded one book and I started reading it, and I was feeling so impatient, so I just directly went to the chapters which were very relevant for me, jumped to those pages, and I got my answers what I was looking for, and I was happy. And then I lost the motivation to read the whole book, but I think I got what I needed. And again, even few more days earlier, I wanted to find out about the how companies deal with competition, because if you're doing anything in generative AI, then you definitely have a lot of players who are competing with you. So is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? And how do you deal with it? What opportunities does it create? What threats does it create? So I downloaded some 3 or 4 books, and again I went directly to the competition chapter, and I read these chapters in these books, and I got what I wanted. By the way, when I say reading books is a waste of time, I do not mean reading is a waste of time. I just mean to say reading books is a waste of time. So reading, of course, as an entrepreneur, you will have to do lots and lots of reading, because uh, and the thing is that what you need is not there in one book, but you have to read like thousands of books, and you cannot read them all in the given time that you have if you're a single person. Maybe after 2 years, when you have a team doing a lot of things, you can take this time out to leisurely read the books that you really like. But for now, you have to be very goal focused. Just focus on what's the end goal and what is little bit of information that you need and how quickly you can get it, maybe online, maybe in a research paper, maybe in a book, but not the entire book. If you are a younger guy and you have not yet started the journey, you're not in the startup, so yeah, definitely read lots and lots of books that will prepare you for this time. But when we have taken the plunge, then in the first 1 or 2 years, we have to be very focused on the goal, on achieving the goal. And this is not the time where we can enjoy things really, I think. And I also think that it's very important to move fast in this 1 or 1.5 period, because people see the rate of growth, that you give, and that attracts more or less investment. Speed is also important because if you're working on a startup in a technology space, then technology is a very fast moving space. Things will be very different 1 year from now or 2 years from now. So if your solution is late, then it will already have lost its timing. There may be one or two exceptions to this. Maybe there is a book that you really need to read fully end to end for your startup. So maybe you read that book. Or there is, like, for example, when you take a break from your startup and you want to just pass time, then it's better to read a book related to startups than to watch movies. For example, for me myself, when I'm eating food, I like to watch videos of other entrepreneurs and interviews. They're pretty useless, I know, but it is still like good use of my time while eating food, so I watch it anyways.